We're in Nashville, Tennessee, in an area called Antioch, where there's a new community center with a gym and an event space, and it shares a building with a library. Next to the workout room is a dance room. It's got a line of mirrors and a ballet bar, but right now, and for the next 2 hours, for the women inside, it's a sort of holy ground.
From 9:30 to 11:30, I can come in here, not worry about my kids, my children, not worry about my husband, not worry about my job, not worry about my bills. Just come in here and have fun and play like I did when I was a kid.
This is Kimmy Christian. She's the captain of a group of women who show up every Saturday morning and jump rope. But not just with one rope, with two. Kimmy and these women in Nashville are part of a larger movement of women returning to the play of their childhood, which also serves as a joyful hallmark of their tradition.
It matters. It's important to build the community and keep this history alive.
In this episode, we're not only going to Nashville, but we're going to a park in New York City.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
And we'll meet 4 women whose accomplishments as teenagers were groundbreaking.
We were considered ambassadors of the sport. It just really made us legendary.
And we'll sit with a poet whose childhood observations have stayed with him for decades.
It's not performative. They're enjoying one another's company.
I'm Leslie. It's niche to meet you. And this is Double Dutch. Now, with every niche we cover, it's always a good thing to start with the basics. And maybe you've never heard of Double Dutch before. It's a way of jumping rope, but with 2 ropes instead of 1. And 2 people hold the ropes on either end. And then in the middle, there's a jumper, or 2, or 3, or more. There's a lot of calling out to those on the ropes, or even watching. And there are chants. If you're like me, you know about Double Dutch from Sesame Street. There was a feature on the show in the 90s where a team of kids in New York City were readying themselves for an upcoming contest.
We practice every day. And just like a football team, we have to warm up by stretching our muscles.
Double Dutch contests receive the most media attention. And while the competition is certainly part of the Double Dutch experience, the core of Double Dutch is much more communal, participatory, anthropological. It's a deeply cultural experience, and it harkens back to a past time when kids living in city centers had no screens to fill their downtime, so they'd play outside. And one of the easiest things to find was a rope, and the rules were simple.
The whole game is designed to wait and watch, and then you get up and you try, and then when you miss the rope, you go to the back of the line.
This is ethnomusicologist Dr. Kira Gaunt. Her study and work is devoted to the play of young Black girls. She literally wrote the book on Double Dutch. It's called The Game Black Girls Play, Learning the Rope from Double Dutch to Hip Hop. So you're going to hear a lot from Dr. Gaunt in this story. It's believed that Double Dutch in America begins with Dutch settlers in the 1600s in what was then called New Amsterdam, which we now know as New York City. In the 1920s, it really took off in city centers, mostly among young girls, who handed it down until the 70s, when 2 New York City police detectives, Mike Williams and David Walker, formalized the activity with contests and rules as a way to offer a positive activity for teen girls.
They helped found the American Double Dutch League, which is now morphed into the National Double Dutch League.
And this, the National Double Dutch League, kickstarted a larger cultural trend with McDonald's sponsoring competitions. In 1980, something very important happened. The national contest was won by these 4 girls.
I'm Dolores Brown.
Deshaun Adams.
Robin Oaks.
Adrian Adams.
Who called themselves
Fantastic Four.
Now, the Fantastic Four are 4 fully grown women.
Dolores.
Deshaun. I'm Robin. Adrian.
They're scattered across the country now, but we met one night on Zoom after our workdays had ended. Robin and Dolores reflected on what happened after that 1980 win.
We were having fun.
And people were calling us, asking us to do events. You know, we got called for a McDonald's commercial.
I mean, we were considered ambassadors of the sport. In hindsight, it just really made us legendary.
So legendary, in fact, that as teenagers, they were invited to join the first ever rap tour in Europe in 1982. This was the European debut of hip-hop, as it was still in its formative stages. The names on the tour have become fixtures in hip-hop legend. Rocksteady Crew, Africa Bambaataa, Grandmaster Flash, Futura 2000, Fab Five Freddy, and billed as the Double Dutch Girls were the Fantastic Four.
Everything we did was groundbreaking.
Now remember this tour, because we're going to talk about it later in the episode. To get an idea of the extent of these girls' athletic abilities, you need only watch the Emmy-winning documentary Pick Up Your Feet. I'll put a link in the show notes. It's based on the 1981 competition, and this is the year after the McDonald's commercials, which meant the Fantastic Four was officially considered professional and could not compete to defend their title, but they did perform while the judges were tabulating results. That announcer is Detective Mike Williams, one of the founders of the American Double Dutch League. We mentioned him earlier. He put together the contests. And while he and Detective Walker did a great deal to support the Double Dutch movement, Dr. Kira Gaunt was sure to specify.
They invented the competition. Black girls already knew how to double dutch.
Now, lots of people do this activity, of course, of all colors, all genders. We're going to meet some later in the episode. But it's important to narrow in on the experience of young Black girls to begin with, because they were the ones to develop Double Dutch as a cultural tradition, generation after generation. So in this episode, I'm not going to focus on the league or the contests, because there's a difference in doing this thing to compete and doing it because it's part of your heritage or gives you connection. And that's what I think is so compelling about Double Dutch, because the formalization of something can often cull out the important work of what it was to begin with. Take Warhammer 40,000 as an example. Now, if you've been listening to this show since the beginning, you'll remember the sci-fi tabletop wargame we launched with. If you haven't listened, you can go ahead and find it, but here's a spoiler. Over 4 episodes, we explored this niche that even the Dungeons & Dragons players call nerdy. We talked to the creators of the game and the folks who play it. And the charm of it, the thing that saved some of these folks' lives, are the in-person games in local game shops. Formal competitions require precise gameplay that doesn't allow for a relaxed atmosphere, which is the thing that breeds the connection so many are finding within the activity. So it's kind of the same thing for Double Dutch. The heart of it isn't found in formality, it's found in connection. And it's found most deeply rooted in communities who have done it for decades. Like the one Kimmy Christian grew up in.
I'm originally from Chicago, and it's kind of like a passage, right? You just, when you're born, everyone just jumps Double Dutch.
Now remember that Kimmy is the captain of a group of women in Nashville who meet weekly to revisit their childhood roots, which connect them even further back than just themselves.
My mom jumped Double Dutch, my aunts jumped Double Dutch, my sisters jumped Double Dutch. It's just kind of what the girls did in the neighborhood. And so I've been jumping Double Dutch since I was 7, well, as long as I can remember.
And a few years ago, she reconnected with a friend who she jumped with as a child. And this friend told her about something called the 40+ Double Dutch Club.
And I was like, oh, wow, I don't know if I could still jump. I would love to do that. So I met them all when they were walking in a parade in Atlanta. I went and I jumped rope with them and fellowship with them and had a good time. And I was like, we need one of these in Nashville. So I said, well, what do I need to do to start one?
The answer was simple. All you need is 3 people. 2 to turn the ropes, 1 to jump. Their meetup now averages about 40 people on a given Saturday. It starts with stretching, warming up, and then a healthy dose of rope turning, followed by hand clapping, line dancing, and a chant, during which Kimmy goes live on Facebook to promote the meetup as a way to foster community.
We do birthday celebrations. We're there for each other during grieving, during, deaths, celebrate each other's accomplishments, new jobs. We're all one. We're all sisters.
If you're looking for some fun, fitness, fellowship, and friends, then come on, join us, okay?
The 40+ Double Dutch Club is nationwide, And it is a large movement, but it's actually part of a larger movement of adult women returning to their childhood love of double dutch. And social media's algorithms are actually doing a good thing by helping to spread the movement with viral videos of pop-up double dutch play. Sometimes the videos feature people who have clearly done double dutch their entire lives. They're experts. Sometimes it's people who have never done it before. Usually these videos are set in city centers like New York City. So I thought I'd try to find one in Washington Square Park. It's next to Greenwich Village, right in the middle of NYU. I'm sweatier than I've ever been in my entire life. It's August, and I'd been walking around all day for meetings and to experience New York City itself. People watching. But the entire day was leading up to this evening where I was going to watch a pop-up double dutch event. The coach for these weekly pop-ups is Shakira Lee.
I started teaching about 4 or 5 years ago.
Shakira, who goes by Kira, grew up in the ropes.
I spent a lot of times in the Bronx. We have a big playground. And before we go to school, every time after breakfast, we'd run out into the playground and just play double dutch.
Lee grew up in the foster care system. She learned to double dutch from her foster siblings. For her, double dutch was first an outlet or a survival technique. But then it became a catalyst for something else.
It comes from a time of not having anyone in my life. Back then, it was more so of an escape, coping mechanism. It was a way for me not to really get too deep into what was already going on around me that I couldn't control. And I could control what I do in double dutch. And it just walked with me throughout life. And it's grown into something much more bigger that I can't even describe. Like, it's the family, it's the joy, it's the community, it's what it brings us, the memories that it holds, it's the history that holds behind it. Everything plays a part in some way.
Kira teaches the sport all over New York City. Maybe it's private lessons or pop-up events like this one that we're about to hear in Washington Square Park. It's sponsored by the Parks Conservancy. It's a nonprofit that provides free programming for the park and those who use it. Kira's been their coach for these events for 4 years. She sets aside her Thursdays for double dutch. She takes her ropes anywhere and everywhere, and this is usually what happens.
A lot of jumpers. They'll watch a good portion of the session. After a while, they're inspired. They say, yeah, I could do it. I've been listening to the instructions long enough. I've been seeing what people have done and their mistakes and where I think I could adjust. And I think I'm ready. I think I could do it. And that's all I need to hear.
Of course, experienced jumpers or even folks who've done it before will get in the ropes. But these people she's talking about, they're just passing by, strangers. And maybe they've never even jumped rope before.
I tell people all the time, give me 10 minutes. Whether you're on your lunch break, whether it's just a 15-minute break, whether you're just going to grab food or on your way to go grab food. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's all it takes. And it's a very exciting 10 minutes. That 10 minutes, within that 10 minutes, you can learn a lot. But the excitement and the adrenaline overtakes all that learning process. So by the time 10 minutes pass, everyone's surprised at not only how much they learned, but how much they were able to physically do.
You heard me laughing at some point during that clip. I just couldn't help myself. It's nervous laughter because I know that in a matter of time, less than 1 hour, in fact, I myself would be in those ropes. Now, I've jumped rope before, but 2? Doubly? Never. And I was very nervous about it.
Can I tell you I'm nervous?
Absolutely. And I want you to be nervous.
Why?
Because when you get out there, we're going to shake all that nervousness out and get you in the rope.
I'm going to get you. I got you.
We're going to shake all that nervousness out and we're going to bring your childhood back.
It's going to turn into 1.
Do you need some more inspiration?
I'll show you. Keep your eyes on the rope.
Do you need some more inspiration?
1, 2.
Would you like a
3,
push?
and go. 1.
Got it for you. And then I'm going to get you in the rope.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Hey.
In just a bit, I,
Just like that.
myself,
You want some more?
Leslie Eiler Thompson, attempt double Dutch. Before we get back into this episode and you hear how I'm a total pro at double Dutch, which is a joke, by the way, I wanted to make sure I filled you in on a new thing we're doing. It's the Niche Notes Substack. We just launched it. It's a sort of umbrella reporting tool for the Niche to Meet You project where additional content gets to live that doesn't fit well into a podcast feed. So it's things like written essays about niches I come across between episodes, or portions of interviews that have only been heard in clips in the episodes, like, for example, the Fantastic Four's conversation from this exact piece. We'll be releasing a joint written and audio post later this month with more from the Fantastic Four, along with some other content you'll hear about later in the episode. No spoilers. We also send the monthly niche letter through Substack for all free subscribers. So why don't you go there and subscribe? You can find the link to do so in the show notes. That's the Niche Notes Substack. Okay, back to Washington Square Park and my attempt in the ropes. I want to take this moment briefly to welcome all the new listeners to Niche to Meet You. We're getting a lot of new people here for many different reasons, and we're so grateful to have you. We've been releasing episodes about niche subcultures since 2023 and have no intention of stopping anytime soon. If you're liking this episode, you might like the Wild Turkey miniseries we did last year. I know it seems totally uninteresting, but putting that miniseries together literally changed my life. And I can never see a wild turkey in the same way. I go out looking for them every single day. If you want to learn more about the show itself or join our monthly newsletter, which we call the Niche Letter, you can head over to nichetomeetyou.show to join the niche list. You can even join the United Nations, which is our Patreon. And every month I release 2 episodes of audio that's never been put out into the world yet. We even have merch. Of course we have merch. Just look in the show notes. You can find all the links to all things niche. I would be so glad to have you anywhere in the Nicheverse. Now, let us get back to the episode. Double Dutch coach Shakira Lee is set up in New York City's Washington Square Park in Garibaldi Plaza with her turning partner Marcus. Now, you won't hear Marcus's voice in this episode because he didn't say a word the entire time we were together. He was silent. I'm serious. But what you will hear is the constant and consistent sound of his rope turning. He was a machine. For 2 hours, he took no breaks. Together with Kira or someone who would fill in for her so she could jump herself, Marcus kept the ropes going. It was amazing. So there's Kira and Marcus. But remember what it took for the 40-plus Double Dutch subclub? 3 people. To do Double Dutch at all, you have to get a third person. And especially if you want a crowd to form in your location, you need a third person, kind of like a plant. The same way a busker puts a couple dollars in the tip jar before they sing a tune, or the way I would do playing in coffee shops in high school. I'd always keep a few dollars in my bag and throw them into the guitar case in front of me. This time, though, it was I that was the plant. I was extremely nervous. I felt like the whole world was watching me. But I quickly learned that I had nothing to be nervous about because I was in very good hands.
You're going to listen out for me, but you're going to keep your eyes on the rope. The rope is going to go 1, 2, 3, and go. Okay? Ready? Yes. 1, 2, 3, and go. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Keep on going, keep on jumping.
I did it. I did it for like 2 seconds. I could hardly believe it. My first time was over, and I didn't break my nose like I thought I might. This time for round 2.
And go. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Keep going. 1, 1. Spin around. 1, 1, 1. Spin around. 1, 1, 1. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.
I know the audio is just not great. I am so sorry, but we were really, really excited.
What did I say? In less than 10 minutes?
Less than 10 minutes. I spun.
Spin I did indeed, and apparently it must have been spectacular because a small crowd had formed. It seems I had amazed and inspired people.
She's a first-time learner. You ready to try?
See? I was the plant that got other people interested. And at that point, I felt like I needed to step aside and just observe.
Who's next? You next? Go in the middle?
One by one, someone would step forward, a little shy, maybe, not so sure of themselves. And within, again, yes, 10 minutes, they were jumping. All the while, Kira was coaching. Marcus was turning.
Don't go nowhere. Stay right there.
And at some point, somebody else showed up who could cover for Kira's side of the ropes so she could jump herself. And my friends, this was absolutely mesmerizing. I know it's hard to tell from audio alone what's happening, but part of what you're hearing here is the clip-on mic that I had on her shirt. You're literally in the ropes with her right now. Do you hear them whipping around? She's going so fast that she looks like she's hovering. And when she was done with the heart of a coach, she immediately invited someone else in.
Would you like a jump?
Most of the people in the ropes that night were complete beginners like me. And anytime someone went longer than they did before, or they made a spin, or they were able to run in the ropes, cheers would erupt from the circle that had formed like we all experienced the win together. And Coach Kira's voice rose to the top. That night I saw Black women try it for the first time, or do it again, having not done it since childhood. I saw white participants and Latino participants, and at one point I sat with a little girl while her dad jumped in the ropes. There were mothers with their daughters, college students, grandmothers, models, and in the middle of it all was Kira.
What I learned, passing it down. I'm passing it down. I want to build generational memories. I want to build generational experiences. That's what I want to leave. It's important to build the community and keep this history alive.
That night in Washington Square Park for 2 hours, I witnessed Kira doing this work. I saw dozens of folks stop by in a very busy city, passing by with their own individual life stories and motivations, tasks and to-do lists. Stop. Literally, stop. With pizza boxes, with groceries. They would watch, laugh, cheer. It was like an oasis of joy. This joy is evident in the viral videos that make their way around the internet of similar scenes. They exude joy, which then sort of evokes wonder, excitement, and awe. But there's more under that magnetic force that makes this sport, this cultural hallmark, so grounded and visceral. It's because it's not all joyful, like I witnessed in the park, not all of it. See, in the years I've been reporting about the niche interest, I've learned to pay close attention to what's just under the surface of a person's love for their thing. It doesn't come from nothing. It's rooted in some sort of visceral experience they had, whether it was something they delighted in, or they had a need to fill, or even a tragedy. And just behind the joy that exudes from Double Dutch, something sobering follows. Remember that Double Dutch began and was passed down for generations through childhood. And it matters a lot how that childhood is experienced, how we experience our childhood. Dr. Kira Gaunt, you heard her at the beginning of the episode. She's an ethnomusicologist, and she spent her career studying the play of young Black girls. Her recent research with her students focuses on YouTube videos collected from over 650 accounts.
My students often couldn't tell between a 20 or 30-year-old woman and an 8-year-old or a 12-year-old girl. Black girls and brown girls are treated as if they have no innocence.
She's talking about something called adultification. It's the idea that a group bias of a child can lead to perceptions of children being more adult-like, and consequences follow. In a groundbreaking 2017 study, Georgetown's Law Center on Poverty and Inequality interviewed 325 adults from a range of ethnicities and racial backgrounds and educational levels in the United States. Here's a quote from that study. Adults see Black girls as less innocent and less in need of protection as white girls of the same age. Rebecca Epstein said this. She's the executive director of the center that conducted the study. The researchers found that the adults in the study thought that Black girls seem older than white girls of the same age. They need less nurturing than white girls. They need less protection than white girls, need to be supported less than white girls, need to be comforted less than white girls, are more independent than white girls, know more about adult topics than white girls, know more about sex than white girls. And these perceptions can lead to unbalanced and unfair treatment of these children. In this case of young Black girls, studies have shown that they're 5 times more likely to be suspended than white girls, 3 times as likely to be referred to the juvenile justice system, and 20 times more likely to be charged with a crime or to be detained. But the problem of adultification goes further and deeper than how a person is treated. It affects how they see themselves. A more recent 2024 study looked at the effects of adultification on the perceptions that Black women had on themselves. The study included 26 adolescent girls, aged 14 to 20, and overall these young girls felt their childhood was often cut short due to the adult-like responsibilities imposed on them. They felt hypersexualized because of their race, which led to isolation and, in some cases, self-harm. Dr. Kira Gaunt posed one theory for this hypersexualization in surrounding culture.
Now, this may be because the songs that we sing by male artists predominantly happen to have a lot of sexist and misogynist lyrics in them.
In the videos Gaunt and her students are analyzing, young girls are lip-syncing words that are not only harmful to themselves, but in her words, oppressive.
But everybody normalizes it. Everybody sings the stuff. Everyone, even the R. Kelly example is great. One of his victims, Geronda Pace, said that he was her favorite artist. So she skipped class to go to his trial, one of his first major trials. And when he was found not guilty, she thought, wow, this is perfect because I believe in this guy. And he had one of his handlers give his number to her, and she became one of the victims. And then he paid for her silence. He paid her $250,000 or something. She broke that NDA to break the case that just happened in the last few years.
Adultification is made easier, by the way, when there exists a long history of objectifying the Black female body as a tool for oppression and control. It goes back hundreds of years. You can find the research around the term mammy, for example. And when it comes to double dutch, another symptom of this adultification is that the culture of young Black girls' play and creativity and joy is not given the same significance as other cultural forms from their larger community. Here's Gaunt reading the opening lines of her book, The Games Black Girls Play.
When we think of the music that drives the popular culture of African Americans, our first thought is not of double dutch, girls bouncing between 2 twirling ropes. Instead, what comes to mind is hip-hop, neo-soul, go-go, crunk, and R&B. So the games Black girls play, hand-clapping games, songs, cheers, and double dutch, jump rope, may not even register as a kind of popular music.
Gaunt's work has shown that the innocent hand-clapping games and double dutch chants of childhood witnessed by little boys in the neighborhood went on to become inspiration for hip-hop culture itself, led by men. Take Nelly's Country Grammar, for example, which borrows from a popular double dutch chant, Down, Down, Baby.
The problem here is that Nelly, like every other male rapper, knows what is needed for a hook, and he didn't write that hook. His first Grammy nomination and a winning award was with that song, Country Grammar. And the other songs are all about sexualizing and objectifying women.
Down, down, baby, down, down the roller coaster. Sweet, sweet baby, I live.
And this tension begins, actually, at the beginning of hip-hop's origins organization, where double dutch and the women who did it had been present, but ultimately weren't included. Earlier in the episode, we met the Fantastic Four, the legendary, famous double dutch team. Shortly after their whirlwind European tour, they left for college, moved on, graduated high school. During that time, hip-hop culture, including the arts of DJing, emceeing, graffiti, and breakdancing, began to solidify into something tangible and marketable. The only problem was, Double Dutch was missing. The Fantastic Four were erased. Here's Robin reflecting on that, followed by Dolores' thoughts.
And we were just clueless. We just went out there and jumped and performed.
Yeah.
We didn't make a name for ourselves. Of course, it would have been great to have Fantastic Four Double Dutch team, in the books.
Well, we didn't get the recognition like the rappers received or the Rocksteady crew received. I also think because we were so young, we were very passive. You know what I mean? They were definitely more assertive.
Yeah.
We weren't built that way. We just weren't.
The earliest founders and fixtures in hip-hop lore consider this an oversight. They say they just didn't think of it at the time. Regardless, hip-hop took off and was commercialized, even as it borrowed from the art of double Dutch rhymes. However, just as art can exclude or even objectify, it can also enrich and beautify. It can act as cultural preservation and promote joy.
I remember as a little boy watching the big girls playing double Dutch at the park and just being totally enamored.
This is Gregory Pardlow. He's a Pulitzer Prize-winning poet.
When I got older and I started writing poetry, that image was something that I just wanted to capture because it had all the romantic ideas. It had, physicality. It had femininity. It had the politics. It had racial consciousness. It had, history. So I knew there was something there.
So he writes a poem called, simply, Double Dutch.
1, 2, 3, and go. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
The girls turning double Dutch bob and weave like boxers pulling punches, shadowing each other, sparring across the slack cord, casting parabolas in the air. They whip quick as an infant's pulse, and the jumper, before she enters the winking, nods in time as if she has a notion to share, waiting her chance to speak. But she's anticipating the upbeat, like a band leader counting off the tune they are about to swing into.
1, 2, pick it up. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You hear that roll? 1, 2, 1.
He read this poem to me in person in Nashville. After he read the poem and explained the history behind it, he shared this, unprompted.
One of the best compliments that I've gotten on this poem was a woman in Minnesota said, what I love about the poem is that you represent this young girl without sexualizing her. If you come at it through the lens of joy, there's an empathetic attachment that we get to connect with. And that is so humanizing, right? That the thing that's motivating them is not performing for our, gaze. It is not an attempt to gain respect, in all of the rhetoric of protests. And it's not performative. They're enjoying one another's company.
For the women who do double Dutch, the joy of it was born in scenes just like the one Gregory Pardlow has put to rhyme. Places where they're just simply enjoying one another's company. This is what I hear when I listen to women like Dolores Finlayson of the Fantastic Four talk about her own double Dutch career.
Leslie, we were 4 young girls from the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And all we wanted to do was come out and play. Never thought we would be touring. Never thought we would be leaving the hood. Never thought we would be on a national commercial. All of that is joyful enough. Because not a lot of people, especially kids, young kids that look like us, can say that. So that brings us joy. And that's part of our legacy. Nobody can take that away from us. No one.
We're gonna be 4 little old ladies without canes and still jumping rope. Come on now, sister. What you say, Delana?
3 months after my first time in the ropes with Kira, I'm in Nashville at the 40 Plus meetup. And Kimmy gets me in the ropes again. I remembered Kira's voice from when she coached me. I felt the joy surrounding me in the room, and I kind of felt like a kid again. And with the world we live in today, who doesn't need an opportunity to feel like a kid again? The Double Dutch story does not end here. No. Over on the Niche Notes Substack, you can find the link in the show notes, we'll be releasing additional content for our paid subscribers, like clips from interviews, Gregory Pardlow's full reading of Double Dutch. There were hours and hours of interviews and field tape, and it just feels unfair to contain them all to this 30-minute piece. So join us on Substack. The link is in the show notes. We call this our niche list. Free subscribers get the monthly niche letter and occasional posts. Now, we have reached the part of the episode where I give credits and thanks, and I have a lot of people to thank because there are a lot of people who contributed to this piece. First, my heartfelt thanks goes out to Shakira Lee and the Washington Square Park Conservancy for letting me come to a night of their Double Dutch pop-up event. Speaking of Kira, Dr. Kira Gaunt, the ethnomusicologist, I offer her my thanks for her time and her wisdom and her guidance through this subject. The Fantastic Four for joining for an interview on a Monday night, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I also must thank Pamela and Kimmy with the 40 Plus Double Dutch Club for welcoming me to the Nashville Sub Club in October. And finally, thank you to Gregory Pardlow. You'll hear details about that incredible interview on Substack. I am always so grateful to Chris Thiessen, who is my partner in script editing, but I'm especially grateful for him this time because he's done a lot of writing about hip-hop history, so his expertise was particularly helpful. I'd also like to thank Katelynn McIlwain for additional script help and consulting. The music you hear under you is the Niche to Meet You theme song, written by Abigail Flowers, and this arrangement was produced by Abby along with Chris Leidhecker and Kevin Gift. Additional music was provided by Blue Dot Sessions, and this episode was mixed by Kevin Morris. Thanks for joining us on the Niche Party Bus today. Come back anytime. I hope you enjoyed this episode, my new niche buddy. There are more episodes waiting for you wherever you're listening to this one right here, right now. So go find them. Like our episode about dog agility, or like vintage car radio restoration. There is so much more to be found in the Nicheverse. I'm so glad to have had you with us. Don't be a stranger. We'll see you next time.